Footballers look like they have the perfect lives. They have luxury cars, big houses, model girlfriends, and private jets. They are very much living the dream. But even with their lavish lifestyle, some footballers still turn to crime. And since they're not above the law, they get arrested. And sometimes even end up in jail. From faking identities to blackmail and assaults, here's 10 times famous footballers were arrested. Number 7. Ronaldinho. We kick off with everyone's favourite Brazilian, Ronaldinho. Known for his skills, goals, and party lifestyle, the winger is a beloved figure in the football world. But since his retirement in 2018, he's faced a string of legal and financial problems. In March 2020, Ronaldinho and his brother Roberto were arrested in Asunción, Paraguay, for trying to enter the country with fake passports. Why would one of the most recognizable faces in the world need a fake passport? Well, the former Barca winger's Brazilian and Spanish passports were seized in 2019 by Brazilian authorities for a separate legal issue, causing him to travel around with a fake one. Ronnie has always liked living on the edge, but this was perhaps a little extreme, and it cost him his freedom, even if just for a little while. Despite pleading that his use of the passport was unintentional, he and his brother were placed in federal prison alongside other convicted criminals like murderers and thieves. The pair were denied bail and faced 6 months in prison. But not even time behind bars could stop Ronaldinho from having a good time. As he does everywhere he goes, he charmed his fellow inmates and prison guards with his personality. Photos and videos emerged showing Ronaldinho partying, celebrating his birthday, and even winning a football tournament with a group of inmates. After a month behind bars, Ronaldinho and his brother were put on house arrest in a luxury $370 per night hotel. And after 6 months in Paraguay, he and his brother were finally allowed to return to their native Brazil. Number 6. Quincy Promes. Next up is Dutch attacker Quincy Promes. Not a household football name like Ronaldinho, but his arrest also caused a huge shock in the footballing world. In December 2020, the former Ajax winger was arrested for assault against his cousin. The incident took place at a family event where Promes allegedly attacked the man by stabbing him in the knee. Promes was arrested and remained in custody, but was released 2 days later while investigations continued. But due to insufficient evidence, the case made little progress, and Promes eventually completed a transfer to Spartak Moscow in Russia. But there were more twists left in the tale. Promes was arrested again in 2023 in relation to a drug trafficking charge. The 31-year-old is alleged to have been connected to the smuggling of 1,360 kilos of cocaine between the Netherlands and Belgium in 2020. While investigating his drug trafficking charge, law enforcement came across phone conversations from 2020, which provided new evidence against Promes in the stabbing case. Promes was charged again for the stabbing, and despite pleading his innocence, the Dutchman was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Number 5. Adam Johnson. At number 5, we have Adam Johnson. Adam Johnson was a popular figure in England in the early 2010s. Great goals, amazing dribbles, and a bubbly personality earned him widespread admiration from the English media. But in his personal time, the Sunderland forward was up to some very questionable activities. In March 2015, Johnson was arrested on suspicions of having sexual relations with a minor. And that wasn't all. It happened while his wife was pregnant with the couple's first child, but he was released on bail shortly after. He continued to play for Sunderland for the next 11 months while awaiting trial, which was set to begin in February 2016. During the trial, it was revealed that the girl was a young Sunderland fan who would wait after games to take a picture with her favourite player, and the two built up a bit of a friendly relationship. Johnson began texting the girl, and eventually they met up and performed sexual acts in the player's car. The girl was 15 at the time, and Adam was in his mid-20s. Johnson was found guilty on one count of having sexual relations with a minor, and his contract was terminated by Sunderland. It was also revealed that during the investigation, authorities discovered an obscene amount of pornography on his computer, which technically wasn't illegal, but didn't help his case. He was sentenced to 6 years behind bars for his actions. Number 4. Harry Maguire. Coming in at number 4, we have another English man, and not one you'll expect to be on this list. Say hello to Harry Maguire, who spent time in prison in the summer of 2020. But his offence was a little different from the rest on this list. So what got the big man behind bars? In August 2020, Harry and his family were on holiday in Greece. Admittedly a nice place to spend the holidays and a popular destination for footballers. But on a night out with his family, his sister got attacked at a bar, by what he described as an Albanian gang. The ever-dependable Harry jumped into her aid and a fight broke out between the two groups. Greek police were eventually called to the scene to break up the brawl, but the craziness was just starting. When the police arrived, their efforts to calm Maguire and his family were unsuccessful. Maguire is alleged to have verbally abused the officers, and his brother Joe even assaulted one of the officials by punching him in the face. This landed the brothers in jail for the night. The brothers were also charged with aggravated assault, which they denied. As if that wasn't bad enough, Harry also allegedly tried to bribe the officers with money while in detention. The pair spent 2 nights in police custody and were eventually released after paying a hefty bail. The Maguires then returned to England, where Harry continued his career with Manchester United. Number 3. Joey Barton. If Maguire was an unlikely name to appear on this list, here's a man whose time behind bars comes as a surprise to no one. Joey Barton, football's most popular hothead. From dangerous tackles to fistfights, spitting in opponents' faces, and even knocking his teammates unconscious, Barton's playing career was littered with displays of anger issues. And off the field was no different. Barton appears in court as frequently as he does on the pitch, and in 2008, he was sentenced to 6 months in prison following a drunken brawl in the Liverpool city centre. What happened, you ask? Well, Joey doesn't particularly need a reason to start a fight, as he's shown so many times. But this particular incident involved an altercation with 2 people, one of them being a 16-year-old boy. And CCTV footage of the incident showed Barton repeatedly punching the older man in the face at least 20 times, before turning to the teenager and punching him once, breaking his teeth. This attracted heavy legal implications on Barton, and he was fined by the FA and his club, Manchester City. After a trial, Barton spent 74 days of his 6-month sentence in jail for the offence. Number 2. Benjamin Mendy. At number 2, we have French left-back Benjamin Mendy, who was subject to one of the most high-profile sex assault investigations in football history. Mendy was signed by Manchester City in 2017 and had been a key player for Pep Guardiola for years. But the 28-year-old's world began to fall apart in August 2021 after he was arrested on allegations of rape and sexual assault by multiple women. He was released shortly after and continued to play for Manchester City over a 9-month period, where he made 18 appearances. But the player remained under police investigation during the entire time. However, he was eventually arrested again and charged with multiple counts of rape and assault. The player was denied bail and remained in custody, spending a significant amount of time in jail and on house arrest over the next 2 years. His court trial lasted for over a year, with new charges appearing as old ones got cleared. In total, he was faced with as many as 9 charges of rape and sexual assault, with many of the attacks alleged to have taken place at the Frenchman's house. Many of his teammates, friends, and even manager Pep Guardiola were called to testify during his trial. However, in July 2023, he was cleared of all existing charges against him and released from police custody. He was immediately allowed to continue his career and now plies his trade in France with Lorient, following the expiry of his contract with English club Manchester City. Number 1. Bruno Fernandes. The final player on this list is Bruno Fernandes. Not that Bruno Fernandes, this Bruno Fernandes. Arrested for kidnapping, torture, and murder. This is the craziest case on our list. We've saved the best for last, or should we say worst? So strap in. In 2010, a woman named Eliza Samudio claimed Fernandes was the father of her unborn child. She sued Fernandes after the goalkeeper refused to support her during the pregnancy. Shortly after she gave birth, she disappeared, and her infant child was seen with Bruno's wife, leading to the player's arrest by authorities. During the investigations, it was revealed that Bruno ordered the kidnapping of Eliza and her child, which was carried out by Luis Romeo, a former policeman and one of the keeper's friends. Romeo lured the woman and her child to Bruno's home under the pretense that he was ready to take a paternity test. Romeo would then kidnap and torture Eliza on Bruno's request. During their confession, the pair even stated that Romeo fed her body to dogs after she was killed. The news quickly became a national headline, and Bruno's contract was suspended by Flamengo. He was then sentenced to 22 years in federal prison. Bruno's child was later found in a slum in Brazil after being abandoned, and he was handed to Eliza's mother to care for him. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more football videos, and as always, thanks for watching.